Hello and welcome back to Radioactive Ramblings, where today we're going to be returning to our roots for the return of Fallout on Amazon Prime Video. And today I've got the pleasure of being joined by Richard.
Hello, hello. I'm Richard. I'm also happy to be here and talk about this trailer. There's so many, little Easter eggs, and I think it's going to be a great season just based on the trailer. But before we get into it, Aaron, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be covering this with you this time. When Radioactive Ramblings started with the first season of Fallout, it was just me and Chase doing this thing, and now we're going to be doing like an alternating host kind of situation, and I'm excited because you joined me for Fallout Lore, which was a lot of fun, which at some point we'll definitely do some more episodes of.
Yeah,
And I'm excited. I'm really hyped because I think that on the scale of knowledge, when it comes to the Fallout universe, it would go probably me with the most knowledge, and then you, and then Chase. So we have a really good variation of who knows what in the universe because you've played some of the games. I don't think Chase has played any of them at length.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I've only played like 3, 4, and 76 at length. I really got to play New Vegas, but one day.
New Vegas is kind of hard to get into. Well, it wouldn't be hard to get into for you because of the gameplay. You have played Fallout 3, which is essentially the same type of gameplay, but I would say that New Vegas is difficult to run on certain modern computers. It doesn't really hold up great. It crashes a lot. Not as bad as Fallout 3. There are some computers that Fallout 3 just won't even launch on, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah.
New Vegas, we're going to get into a lot of New Vegas references today when we break down the trailer because this trailer was just, I mean, it was 90% New Vegas, I would
Yeah.
say.
A lot of the references that I've seen too is like I've seen those like parts of New Vegas. So of course I'm like, "Oh, it's that guy." And I have no clue who that guy actually is, but like I've, seen a trailer and maybe not that guy, but like, "Oh, I've seen this place before."
Yeah. Like I said, we are going to be doing a little bit of a trailer breakdown before season 2 starts. Season 2 is starting today, December 16th, and we want to make sure that you guys are prepped. They did a little bit of a switcheroo on us and they announced via the Vegas Sphere. If you if you don't know what the Sphere is, give it a little Google search. It's words can't really do it justice, but they announced that the show is going to be coming out a day early today at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, before we get started, this is going to be a big season. So, Richard, you want to let the people know how they can get in contact with us and send us all of their thoughts?
Oh, of course. We really want to hear from you guys a lot this season, especially just because this is one of our like I guess like our flagship show, kind of, given the name of our podcast and all. So you guys can get in contact with us a few different ways. We've got our email, radioactive at thelorehounds.com. You could send us a voicemail at thelorehounds.com or message us on Discord. We have a channel just for radioactive ramblings. And then I'm sure there's probably a thread for Fallout.
There isn't one yet, but I will see about getting one up. For now, if there isn't one up by the time this episode releases, then chat in the Radioactive Ramblings chat, but I will see about getting a general Fallout chat up in the television section.
Okay.
Um, and without further ado, should we get into the trailer breakdown? I think that we're just going to go kind of point by point. We're not necessarily going to go in chronological order of what happens in the trailer because certain things fit together a little bit better than others. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this trailer starts off with a voiceover from Thaddeus, who was the Brotherhood bully who turned into a sort of proto ghoul at the end of the last season. And he ended up taking the serum from the chicken fucker who that's really the only way to describe that guy, the wasteland doctor who gives him the ghoul serum. Do you think that he's actually a ghoul?
think he's turning into something else, and I think it's going to be absolutely disgusting, given that he's got that fucking mouth growing out of his chest. Like that is nasty looking.
Yeah, it was really gross. It had teeth coming out of it, and yeah, the little mouth on his chest, which isn't a ghoul trait. That's just kind of a mutation that he has developed. So that's why I'm wondering, is he actually a ghoul? Is he mutated in some other way? The
Right.
whole ghoul serum thing pretty much started with this show, but prior to the Fallout TV series, ghouls were pretty much created through exposure to radiation, and it seems like Bethesda has kind of ran with the whole concept of a ghoul serum, because they added that into Fallout 76 as a way of becoming a ghoul in that game, which
Oh.
it's
I
almost
didn't
like
know that.
they were using the show to create a video game mechanic, which is kind of cool. I like it. It makes
Mhm.
sense that they would have to modernize that if they're going to start having people be able to play as ghouls in the games.
Right.
Um, but we're not getting the next Fallout game for probably, I want to say optimistically, a decade. It's going to be a
We're
while.
getting Elder Scrolls 6 before Fallout, and that is never coming out.
Yeah. The Shadow Drop of Oblivion does give me a little bit of hope that they're going to turn things around, but we'll see. We do see Thaddeus reunite with Maximus and talk to him about, the wasteland being a real rough place. There's no good people left. And Maximus corrects him a little bit and says, Lucy is actually one of the few good people left in this wasteland,
Yeah.
which we've heard from Ella Purnell and Walton Goggins a little bit that this is going to be a bit of a push and a pull with the ghoul and Lucy, that they are going to have a bit of a rough time with one another, and they're going to influence each other, not always for the better. And I think particularly Lucy is going to be influenced not for the better by the ghoul. But we'll
Yeah, I
see if
think
they meet somewhere in the middle, right?
yeah, I'm thinking she's gonna fall more into like, you know how you play every Fallout game. Like when you start, you're definitely not like, or at least the first time I played a Fallout game, I was not like understanding of the wasteland. And now obviously like, you know, if I gotta bribe someone or like lie to someone in Fallout, like I'm gonna do it because
Yeah.
it makes it easier. And obviously she doesn't understand that yet, but I feel like by the end of this show or this season, she'll be a little bit closer to like that seasoned wastelander type thing.
hmm Yeah, the morally dubious thing to do is not always the worst thing, Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to, as the ghoul would say, sometimes you got to eat a fella in order to survive in the wasteland.
Sometimes you just gotta blow up Megaton. Don't actually blow up Megaton, guys. Please. We love
Yeah.
Megaton.
But Moira Brown survives no matter what, so don't worry. You can still finish that Wasteland Survival Guide.
For a sec I was thinking of Moira Rose. I don't know why.
You should always be thinking of Moira Rose. She would be a
I
great
guess.
character to put into the Wasteland with how eccentric she is.
Oh, true, totally. And she'd be like she'd carry all of her wigs with her. I mean, obviously.
She would. Oh, that would be so funny to see a character like Moira Rose become a ghoul and still have all of the wigs on. Which, speaking of ghouls and wigs, we get a little bit of a teaser of the New Vegas Strip and the gate into the Strip from Freeside, and we see the
Mhm.
Kings. Which, let me drop a little.
I was gonna say, who are the kings?
So you see the funny looking ghouls in the trailer who are dressed like Elvis Presley. Well,
Oh,
those would be the Kings, and they are a gang that runs the outer section of Las Vegas, or New Vegas rather. And this outer section is called Freeside. It's outside the direct control of the guy who runs the strip. And the last time we saw the Kings, they were not ghouls. They were just
okay.
regular old Elvis impersonators in a gang. And
Do we know why they impersonate Elvis Presley? Because, like, that's so random.
it is really random. So the whole story behind why they are Elvis impersonators is they found an Elvis impersonator school in Vegas,
Mhm.
and they figured, oh, this guy must have been he must have been a god. He must have been this great leader. So many people wanted to be like him and modeled themselves off of Elvis that we should be doing that because clearly they had the right idea. And so you
Oh.
just have this gang of people that talk and act like Elvis, wear the wigs, whatever, and they are running things in Freeside. At least the last time we saw them. That could have changed.
Yeah, that's kind of fire.
It is, and their leader is known as the King and the dog companion in Fallout New Vegas because there's always a dog companion. Only time that
Yes.
it wasn't dog meat. His name was Rex, and he was a robotic dog, and he was originally owned by the King.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, the whole ghoulification process for the Kings makes me think that maybe Vegas got a little bit of Shady Sands treatment.
Oh, maybe.
Could have been blown up. Yeah, I'm interested to see on where they go with that because it doesn't look like everyone in Vegas is a ghoul. It seems like most people are still human, so why the Kings would have all become ghouls, I'm not sure. We're gonna find out. They've changed all the mechanics around ghoulification, so maybe Chicken Man brought some serum to them.
Chicken Man. Oh.
I
I genuinely hope he returns. He was such a silly, like, aside from the chicken thing, he was such a silly and like random character.
He was. We did see him in the trailer getting mauled by a rad roach, actually.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. Justice for that chicken,
Yeah, indeed. And I think that if they are showing us this much in the trailer, that makes me think that all of this crazy stuff is happening in the first couple of episodes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be like Welcome to Derry where like they only gave us a few clips from like the second half of the season.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited, which quick aside, if you haven't been watching Welcome to Derry and you aren't listening to the Laura Hounds coverage, get on that because both the show and the coverage are really fantastic.
Yeah, that
Um,
show was so good. Oh my
excited
god.
for season two.
Me too. That Big Penny is going to get so wise next season. It's going to be great.
The Pennywise brain rot on TikTok has really been, it's been something.
Yeah, I love seeing like people talking about the big P Whizzle I saw. Like that's crazy. I think we're just coming up with whatever we can at this point.
They really are. Speaking of coming up with things, Fallout New Vegas invented a type of robot that wasn't before seen in the Fallout universe, and that is Mr. Robert House's army of Securitrons.
Oh.
And everything about this trailer makes me believe that the canon ending for Fallout New Vegas is going to be the house always wins, which is essentially where Robert House, the leader of New Vegas and pre war industrialist, that's right, this guy is more than 200 years old, and we see that in the trailer with him in pre war talking with Cooper Howard, and then we see the ghoul.
Oh, we saw him last season too.
We did, and he was actually played by a different actor last season. I don't remember the gentleman's name who played him in the last season, but he has now been recast as a major character played by Justin Theroux, which is exciting. Pretty cool actor.
Why
Um,
pretty cool actor. I don't really know the lore on this guy.
he has just been in a lot of interesting projects. He was in, I want to say he was in American Psycho, Charlie's Angels. He was in The Leftovers, I think, which was a pretty popular show. I never really got into that.
Okay.
White House Plumbers, all that. Pretty big actor. And I think he was actually in the new Beetlejuice as well, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
shoot.
So he does a lot. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah,
And it seems
sounds
like
like it.
he is going to be playing Robert House very well. In the post apocalypse, this guy is a computer screen. He's not actually a computer screen. He is a shriveled up corpse connected to a computer, basically.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
He's not actually dead. He's just barely staying alive, and communicates to everyone through his little computer screen control center. He's known for
Yeah.
being super reclusive, and no one is allowed inside of his Lucky 38 casino, which is where he runs Vegas from. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. I know I've heard of Mr. House obviously for a while, so like that's one of those references where I was like, "Oh my god, I know that guy."
Exactly. And if the house always wins ending does become the canon ending for New Vegas, I'll set the stage a little bit for what the wasteland should look like, but take it with a grain of salt because I thought I knew what the wasteland was going to look like last season and they quite literally blew it up. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Robert House would have taken complete control of Vegas and the surrounding areas, not just the strip, not just Freeside, but everything, including the prize of the Mojave Wasteland, the Hoover Dam. That's what everyone wants. That's what everyone is after, the Hoover Dam. Power, clean water, all of that. And for a long time, it was held by the New California Republic. They fought a couple of wars against Caesar's Legion for the Hoover Dam, and in the House always wins ending. The player character, the Courier, decides to help Robert House do a little bit of a double cross against the NCR and take control of Hoover Dam for himself. Part of that is with his army of Securitrons, which, if you give him his special little platinum chip, which is basically just a big military upgrade for his Securitrons. They get the little military interface on them, which we see in the trailer. So at the very least, we know House got the platinum chip.
Right. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean he won the Battle of Hoover Dam, but
Exactly. So there's a lot of variables here, and we don't really know what they're going to be doing, but we see another Securitron, which is pretty iconic for Fallout New Vegas, and his name is Victor. He is a cowboy Securitron.
Mhm.
This is the guy who saves the player character from being shot in the head
Oh.
in Fallout New Vegas. So, well, he doesn't save him from being shot in the head, him or her from being shot in the head. You still get shot in the head and buried. Victor digs up the player character and patches you up. And that's kind of your introduction to the main story is being shot in the head and resurrected by this Victor Securitron.
Yeah.
Victor does work for Robert House. All the Securitrons do, but he is one of the few special ones that has his own personality, his own deal. So I'm excited to
Right.
see a little bit more of him.
Yeah, I like the cowboy. I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, and he kind of follows the player character throughout the wasteland, throughout the whole course of the story. He tracks your journey into Vegas and tries to make sure that you get there safely. Because Robert House really wants you to do his bidding and get the platinum chip for him so that he can upgrade his Securitron army. Moving on, because I don't want to get into the games too much. We could be here for hours if we do that. Let's talk about some of the gnarly critters that we spotted in the wasteland. We see the rad scorpion eating a smaller insect. Richard, you a fan of rad scorpions?
Hell nah. I don't like those things. They usually kill me a lot. I try to stay away from stuff that does that.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you could always make a rad scorpion casserole, though.
I mean, I could, and I'm sure it would be just so yummy and delicious. I mean, who doesn't like the idea of eating something that looks so awesome and cool like that? Ugh.
And then we talked about this a little bit before, but we get the return of the Wasteland Doctor, who is affectionately known in the community as Chicken Fucker for obvious reasons. I don't think I need to explain that one.
I can't
He's
imagine why they'd call him chicken fucker. Honestly,
I just can't imagine it either. He's just a scholar and a gentleman,
for sure.
but he's being attacked by a rad roach, which is pretty awesome.
He probably deserved it given his like track record with animals.
I didn't even think about that in terms of the rad roach, but I hope you're wrong, but I don't think you will be wrong.
Yeah, I think it'll just be some crazy shit. but I feel like that's usually what Fallout does, you know?
I agree. We should get into what Vault 33, 32, 31, what they're all up to. When we left off last season, Norm had discovered all of the cryopods in Vault 31. So the first clip that we get is the Vault Dwellers partying. It looks like maybe some of the Vault Dwellers are kind of losing it. Like we know that their water chip is broken, so maybe they're having one last hurrah before it goes out and they have to leave or die. Something along those lines.
Mhm.
Norm, who is Lucy's brother, if you don't remember, looks
Oh
like
yeah, I
he's.
remember him. He was I feel like his plotline was actually really interesting.
I agree. I thought that he was going to be one of the most boring parts of the series. I thought that whenever we went back to the vault, I was going to be like, damn, I don't care what's happening in here. But everything was so interesting. Him with Chet and Betty as the overseer. That was awesome. We got a brief little clip of Betty walking down a hallway. But I think the most interesting thing that we saw in relation to the Vault Dwellers is that it looks like Norm let all of them out of their cryopods, and then we see a bunch of people in the Vault 31 jumpsuits being led out of the vault by Norm and into the wasteland.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea like what they could be doing out in the wasteland? Why Norm would want to bring them out of there? Is he trying to find his dad? Is he trying to find Lucy?
I think he's just trying to fuck with them, honestly. Like, you know, I think he's like exiling them,
That's
maybe,
true.
or it's being taken massively out of context. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And again, I would imagine that this is happening in the first couple of episodes just because of it being in a trailer that came out almost a month ago.
Yeah.
So, lots of interesting things. And then we also see Stephanie, who is one of the Vault 31ers, the one who takes a liking to Chet with
Yeah.
the eye patch. She is running away from something on her wedding night in her wedding dress. Presumably, she's getting married to Chet. We don't know that for sure, but that's my assumption.
Yeah.
And I would guess that whatever she's running from might have something to do with the fact that everyone is kind of leaving the vault. That's my prediction.
Oh,
But
like maybe there's something, kind of that gets into the vault and starts like killing people.
yeah, something like that. Or the vault dwellers start turning on each other, or I'm just spitting out theories here. None of this is all just speculation, of course. But it could also be that when Norm reveals to the other vault dwellers that everyone from 31 has been essentially pulling the puppet strings, being the little marionetter, I don't even know,
The
puppeteers,
master of puppets.
the the master of puppets, to make a awesome Metallica reference, master of puppets on this whole vault. Maybe the dwellers of 32 and 33 are going to get kind of pissed and go after all the 31ers.
Yeah.
So, something to look out for, something to notice. We see some characters on, I believe it was Lucy on a golf cart going through somewhere, so that could be happening in Vegas, that could be happening in a vault. We'll see. And then I want to get to Lucy and the Ghoul for a little bit because there was a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Lucy says she wants to bring her father to justice. Is that kind of stupid?
I don't know if I'd say it's stupid, but at the same time, I feel like there's never just straight up justice in the wasteland. Like, that's one of the main things of Fallout, I feel like.
Yeah, who's going to administer that justice? There's no New California Republic anymore, or at least I'm not so sure about that statement anymore because we do see the ghoul walking through Camp Golf, which, all right, let's get into Camp Golf for a second because there's some lore behind this place. When the ghoul is talking to an NCR soldier in that camp, this is Camp Golf, which appeared in Fallout New Vegas. This was kind of the front line of the war between the NCR and Caesar's Legion. It was the regional headquarters of the NCR Rangers. I believe that Ranger Hanlon was the leader of the Rangers at that time. And then when the ghoul is speaking to the NCR trooper, it seems like she knows a little bit about him, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, because the trooper's like asking. I think he was the one that was like, "Oh, are the stories about you true or whatever?" Right?
Yeah, something along those lines of, are the stories about you true? You used to believe in high ideals,
Yeah,
all of that.
which is
It
why
makes me
I'm
wonder.
hoping. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I put this in my like predictions, but I figure it's related. I'm hoping we get like some like some early post-war flashbacks of the ghoul.
Yes.
Think that'd be cool.
I hope so too. I do want to bring up that there has been some new lore with the ghoul in relation to Fallout 76 because he appears as a character in that game as a, like a bounty hunter, but I have not played that section of the game since it's
Mhm.
came out, and I have not really done much research into the Fallout 76 lore
Yeah.
just because it's unreliable. It's an MMO, not always going to line up with the canon. So I don't know if it's really worth researching and looking into, but if y'all at home would like me to look into that a little bit and give you the rundown on what the ghoul has been up to in Fallout 76, I would be more than happy to do so. So just let me know. And the ghoul ends up saying that he has kind of wastelanded and stayed alive for 200 years just to find his family. And I believe that up until this point. Do you think that with his relationship with Lucy, is that going to change at all?
Probably like it seems like it's just been driving him like you said for 200 years. Like I'm hoping it doesn't, but maybe he it is possible that he could see like kind of why it's not the best idea to just go after them like this cuz I mean ultimately what's going to happen when he finally finds his family? Like his wife caused or helped cause the destruction of the world as we know it. And then his daughter is probably just going to be scared of him because he's a ghoul. I mean,
Yeah, and I also wonder, why does he think that they're still alive? Does he
there
know that?
I don't think he knows that, but I feel like he might know about because he was with his daughter when the bombs hit, right? As far as we know,
Yes.
I feel like it's completely possible that he was able to protect her from the radiation through some way, shape, or form. Was able to find the vault. The vault 31 is the one with the cryopods, right? I'm not losing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he was somehow able to find that vault, his daughter off to her mother, and then like he couldn't come in the vault though because he's getting ghoulified, or maybe his wife just didn't let him in the vault because of everything else leading up to that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. Because we know that we're getting more flashbacks. It would be super interesting to see Barb find out that Cooper was working with Moldaver to spy on her and sort of
Yeah.
lock him out
Yeah.
or something along those lines. Yeah, that would be an interesting development. And then it would beg the question of, he was thrown out by his family and he's still looking for them. There's just a lot of questions about the timeline there, and I'm sure that this season is going to answer a lot of that.
Hmm.
We already talked about this a little bit about Cooper meeting Mr. Robert Edwin House in pre war and then meeting him again in post war as the ghoul. So they have a 200-year long relationship, apparently, which is going to be pretty interesting. I want to know what House wants with Cooper in the pre war time period. And I want to know how that relationship is going to play into the two of them in the post war period. But
Yeah.
a little bit more background on House and Vegas. House just really loves Vegas. It's kind of his hometown. So he knew that the bombs were going to be coming, and so he decided that he would create an anti-missile system that would protect Vegas from nuclear annihilation, and it worked
Yeah.
for the most part. He stopped the strip and Vegas from being completely destroyed in the way that the rest of the country was. And then he reopened Las Vegas, and in particular the Strip, as a thriving remnant of pre war Vegas culture. So He opens up the casinos. There's prostitution, there's neon lights, there's gourmet restaurants, there's tons of gambling. You want somewhere to spend all of your bottle caps? Come to Vegas, go to the casinos, everything is fixed up and the streets are paved. It's pretty interesting that this whole place is just
It's basically the same as it was. Not the same, but pretty
yeah,
pretty similar to how it used to be.
for sure. It's a lot closer. And the way that he did that, we might have talked about this in a Fallout lore episode, but he got into contact with a bunch of the tribes that were in the Vegas area while he was kind of in stasis or waiting it out.
Hmm.
And he made them all an offer for them to become the families that would run the casinos. So the different tribes in the Vegas area became his enforcers, his casino runners, all of this stuff. And they each adopted their own little personalities and Vegas affects. So the people who run the Tops Casino, which um, they're called the chairman, and the chairman, their most famous member is Benny, and we won't see him in this series. He was played by Matthew Perry in Fallout New Vegas, and he's a big part of the plot line there. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. Uh, they're kind of regular old Vegas mobster type of vibe, and then you have the gourmet restaurant people, and everyone has a different thing. So we're gonna
Yeah.
get to see a lot of that. The Kings, yada yada. You get the idea. I don't
Yeah,
want to
everyone's
spoil
got
too
their
much of it.
gimmick, for sure.
Exactly. And then we have a little bit of a weapon alert. For the first time in this series, we see a power fist, which is being used by Lucy in what looks like the Tops Casino. I could be wrong on that, but it does look like the Tops. And the power fist is exactly what it sounds like. It's a hydraulic fist that you use to beat the shit out of people with.
Yeah, I mean, good weapon. I like the power fist personally.
I want to talk about the town of Novak just a little bit. When we see Lucy and the ghoul in the kind of motel area with the statue of the dinosaur, this dinosaur has a name. His name is Dinky the Dino. And I believe this is based off of a real road stop attraction in Nevada, which is pretty funny. But in the game, it is a little settlement called Novak because there's a burnt out no vacancy sign, and the only letters that are still up are Novak.
I
so
I
they,
do like that actually a lot with Fallout. Like when they have, not even Fallout, I guess, like the post-apocalyptic genre in general. They find like a ruined building, and only half of the or like the name is legible, so they just name the town or the settlement or whatever after that.
it's pretty funny. I really enjoy when they do that. Dinky the Dino is kind of important because that's where the snipers that protect the town do their thing from. They patrol up from the mouth of Dinky the Dino. But it looks like we won't be seeing much of that because a tribe of raiders called the Khans, who have modeled themselves off of the Mongols, they seem to be in control of Novak now. They've got a long and bloody history with the NCR. They are part raider gang, part just tribe trying to survive in the wasteland, which is the case for a lot of these different tribes.
Yeah.
Little bit of raiding here and there, but for the most part, just people trying to survive. And the cons are no different. They have been driven out of California by the NCR, and not only that, but their previous habitation of Bitter Springs, the NCR had snipers posted up to sort of stop the raiding, and they ambushed the cons, and there was this massacre at Bitter Springs where a lot of women and children of the Khans tribe were massacred because the NCR snipers were given orders to shoot on anyone who was trying to escape from Bitter Springs. So there's a lot of bad blood there, a lot of nasty history. The Khans really despise the NCR because of this. But fun fact, the Khans and the people who founded the NCR actually originate from the same vault that let out.
Okay.
A lot of the raider gangs in California and Nevada kind of have their origins in the same vault that the NCR folks do. They have a shared history where the whole point of the
Oh
vault
yeah,
was
we
to
talked about this
we
in
did.
a Fallout lore episode. Okay, I'm it's been a minute, so I'm like a little out of it.
Yeah, just a quick refresher that the whole point of the vault was that all of these people have wildly different political opinions, and you put them all in one vault to see what happens. And
Yeah.
spoiler alert, not great, but not the worst because they all kind of made it out and went their own separate ways in the
Yeah.
end. Later in the trailer, we do see the ghoul Thaddeus and Maximus with a huge crowd of wastelanders at their side, ready to kick some ass in what looks like Freeside, that outer area of New Vegas.
Right.
I can't imagine what the context for this is going to be. I don't know if they're going to be fighting against the Kings. I don't know if there's just so many possibilities. We don't know. We do get a little bit of a hint, though, that there might be some critters running around because we see what is implied to be Maximus in an NCR Ranger power armor suit. This is the first time we've seen anything like this. He's fighting a Deathclaw. I thought this was super fan servicey, but I really love it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, it is like you said for sure, like fan servicey, but power armor suit Brotherhood, like knight versus a Deathclaw. Please, like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna turn that down.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited that we're finally seeing a Deathclaw. Deathclaws are, I'm just going to say it, they're the most iconic creatures in the Fallout lore.
Oh, for sure. That's it's like them and ghouls are like the main two monsters that I think of.
I do wonder, are we going to get any super mutant action in this season?
I would love to see super mutants, and if they do super mutants, we gotta see one of the like guys that carries the mini nuke, and
Yeah, the
like
behemoths.
like we gotta see that shit.
I know that the Fallout TV series is okay with breaking some lore things in order to make the show more entertaining, which I agree with almost entirely. I think that that's totally fine. In the lore, the behemoths are only an East Coast thing because it's a different strain of the forced evolutionary virus, which is the goop that you dip people in order to turn them into super mutants.
Right?
There's like a weird thing with that strain where the super mutants don't ever stop growing, and so the old super mutants turn into these giant 20-foot tall abominations that are ready to destroy a city and use a fire hydrant to crack your skull open.
Yeah,
Um,
like you do.
like you do. I would be okay if they forgot about that little piece of lore just so that they could show us a behemoth in this season.
Yeah, and even then, they could also just have it be like after hundreds of years, they kind of migrated all and like spread out all over the place. They could totally just. I feel like that's not a complete misstep in logic.
I would agree with that. And they could also show us what's happening on the East Coast. We're getting a Brotherhood civil war in this season, presumably, and the Brotherhood
Yeah.
is across the entire wasteland. All right, let's talk about the Brotherhood plotline a little bit. First of all, welcome to the cast, Kumail Nanjiani, who is just an incredible actor. You might know him from things like Silicon Valley and, most importantly, The Eternals, of course. I really like that movie. Not a lot of people did. But
I liked that movie as well.
he did some silly voice work as the orcs in Shadow of War. I loved
Yes,
his
he did.
performance in
I
that.
I liked the one orc he was that was like calling Talion a racist for trying to kill all the orcs.
Yes. No, he's pretty awesome. And it looks like he's a high up ranking member of the Brotherhood of Steel in this scenario. And
Yeah.
he wants to be involved in the Civil War. So it's unclear whether he's playing an established character or if he is a completely new guy. But I would imagine that he is, at the very least, a knight, maybe even a paladin in the Brotherhood of Steel. So he's going to be important for that whole Civil War. And we do see a whole fleet of Brotherhood of Steel airships and a few of them coming down in the trailer, which makes me think we're diving straight into the action when it comes to this Civil War.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. but at the same time, I could totally see them saving that for like late, like we see the first real battle break out at the end of the season, and maybe just tensions build the entire season. I
Yeah.
would love to see full on war the whole time. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like there's already a whole lot going on with like us getting introduced to New Vegas. So like I feel like the war wouldn't be a whole like it would be continued into next season is what I'm getting at, I guess.
Yeah, I think that yeah, you might be right because it's a lot to cover. They're already taking on so much and adding the whole Civil War plot line into this season as well. Maybe it'll span throughout all the seasons of this show. We'll see. But for anyone who knows the history of the Brotherhood, this is not surprising. Being in a state of fractured and disunited, that's kind of the baseline for the Brotherhood. The fact that they are united at the beginning of this series and in Fallout 4 is honestly a miracle. These people really hate each other and they have a tough time getting over their ideological differences. Like the East Coast Brotherhood, which was founded by Elder Lyons, when he took his people into DC, he had the express orders of go there, get the technology, and that's it. But he gets there and he sees a city overrun by super mutants. People are thirsty, afraid, they don't know what to do, and he's like, "Damn, I have people in power armor. I have an army. I need to help people." And
Yeah.
so,
Good way to be.
yeah, he was a good guy and he also is the reason why the Brotherhood recruits people from outside. Prior to him, the Brotherhood only got new recruits when new people were born into the bunkers that they hid in.
Okay. I
But
don't think I knew that.
they're really xenophobic and
I did know that part. I guess I didn't like expand that thought process to like their recruitment, you know?
yeah, it's pretty crazy, but we do know that the West Coast adopted that East Coast mentality because obviously Maximus and a lot of the other recruits that we see were not born into the Brotherhood. They were just recruited into it at a young
Yeah.
age, which makes them a lot more dangerous because they get a lot more recruits that way and not
Yeah.
just this tiny little organization that hides in their bunkers.
Yeah, and when you recruit people, when you recruit kids and you just kind of beam your propaganda into their minds their entire lives that they're going to be dangerous as soldiers cuz they're just going to support you.
Indoctrination is fun, isn't
It's really it's something, you
it?
know? I'll say that much.
We do also see the Brotherhood fighting Securitrons in this trailer, or at least that's what it looks like. Are they trying to take over Vegas? We'll see. But in Fallout New Vegas, the Brotherhood was actually a really minor faction. They, the chapter in the Mojave Wasteland was completely on their ass. They were beaten. They were pushed to this little bunker by the NCR. They lost control of their big power plant operation, which was the Helios 1 solar facility, which Helios 1, aside from being a solar array, doubles as the control center for a super weapon, basically a space laser. So
Oh,
that might come into play at some point. We'll see.
no. No, that would never happen.
That would
Weapons of
never
mass destruction in Fallout?
could never happen. Caesar's Legion, for anyone who is unfamiliar with New Vegas,
I'm
they
unfamiliar with New Vegas. Just putting that out there.
well, this is perfect for you then. Caesar's Legion is an empire of brutal slavers, and they're a deeply imperialistic society. They basically want to conquer the new California Republic. That was their goal. The guy who created the Legion, he forged this crazy powerful army out of, I want to say it was more than 80 tribes across Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, all these different places, and turned it into a cohesive military force that was loyal to him. This guy's name is Edward Sallow. He was going by the name of Caesar when we last saw him.
Okay.
By all accounts, this guy should be dead by the time of this show. If he is alive, I will be shocked. He had terminal brain cancer when we last saw him in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah, that tends to make it kind of hard for you to live.
It really does. The courier, the main character in New Vegas, does have the choice of operating on him and saving him, but I would doubt that that's the ending that they're going to go with here. Um,
Right.
but even without Caesar, the Legion could still be dangerous. Caesar's goal was to not only take over New California, but he wanted to turn New Vegas into his Rome for his Imperial Legion. And he wanted to merge his powerful military with the infrastructure and the resources that the New California Republic had in order to
Yeah.
create this sort of mega empire in the wasteland. So he was an ambitious guy. If he's dead, and if he's still alive, then he is really dangerous, and the Legion is really dangerous because it is a cult of personality situation where there's going to be a lot of infighting and factional civil war should he be dead.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of a look at an explosion in a location called Fortification Hill or the Fort. That was Caesar's base of operations during his wars with the NCR. It was very close to the Hoover Dam, and it was just his sort of staging ground. It wasn't his official capital. The capital city of Caesar's Legion is in Flagstaff, but we don't get to
Okay.
see that because it's out east a little ways from where we play in the games.
Right. Do you think that we could see that though in this season?
It's very possible. It depends on how far they go with the Legion storyline. I don't know how important of a role they're going to play, but it
Right.
seems like they are going to be pretty central to the story because we get the introduction of Macaulay Culkin. Shout out to Home Alone.
Yep.
Um, he plays a what's described as a genius type character seen in this trailer in Caesar's Legion clothing, but he's killing another legionnaire. So I think that him in the outfit might be kind of an intentional misdirect.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Also, because Caesar's Legion is extremely anti technology and anti learning, so having a genius type character as a legionnaire might. That's also.
I feel like it wouldn't make sense.
I mean, the Legion is just really backwards, not only because of the whole slavery aspect, which is a pretty good reason to think that they're backwards, but they also are
Yeah.
extremely sexist. They don't believe in modern medicine. They even dislike using guns because they think it's too modern. A lot of their soldiers just use machetes.
Oh, that's great. Really
Yeah.
effective.
Real effective, especially when they're fighting against the New California Republic, who have a modernized military with guns and helicopters and things like that. But
Yeah.
for them, it's kind of a numbers game. They have bodies to throw at any enemy that comes at them.
Yeah.
With that being said, I want to hear what your predictions are. Some of your predictions are that you haven't already shared for this upcoming season.
All right. I'm hoping we get a lot of Hank pre-war flashbacks. I feel like we saw a few of him like working in a lab and it looked like it might be the younger version, but I could be wrong.
Hmm.
So like that'd be cool. Like we said earlier, but the early Wasteland Cooper Howard um would be cool. I'm thinking that like I said, I guess these are things I already said, but the Brotherhood Civil War like starting towards the finale, and then I think Thaddeus is gonna die. I think Thaddeus is gonna die this season, and I think that's going to add tension to the Civil War, like to the starting of it.
Yeah, I I would agree with all of that. I think that Hank, it's very possible that we're going to see some younger flashbacks of him. I think that when he's working in the lab, he might be in a certain vault in New Vegas. It kind of looks like he might be. Um,
Which vault? Oh, excuse me.
I don't recall the number. I apologize, but the vault in New Vegas, surprise, surprise, the gimmick was gambling. Everyone inside of the
Oh,
vault had to settle their disputes at like the blackjack or the poker table.
Oh,
That's how they figured
that's kind
things
of
out.
fire.
It is kind of funny. And then basically, Mr. House filled it with concrete and turned the top level into a gift shop for
Oh,
for Vegas.
hopefully, while the people were not in there.
Yeah, no. The residents got out, and one of them, even his name is Michelangelo. He makes all the neon signs for Vegas, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
But it looks like he might be in that vault doing his experiments, or he might just be in a regional Vault Tech headquarters. It could be a flashback. You never know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have many predictions for this season. I think that I want to go into this pretty with a blank slate, pretty much. I would say.
Okay.
I think my biggest thing in terms of predictions is that I do believe we're going to find out the NCR is not as crippled as we thought that they were. I think we're going to
Right.
find out that they have a lot of holdouts. We see that Camp Golf has at least one NCR trooper in it with the lady that Cooper was talking to, that the ghoul was talking to.
Mhm.
And I think there's a lot more of that going on, especially because we see the Legion and they haven't overrun everything, which makes me believe that they're getting pushback from someone, whether that's House, whether that's the NCR. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But
If we're seeing some NCR people, you think we're gonna see an NCR Ranger just because of the fit?
oh, absolutely. I think that we're going to see Maximus steal that NCR power armor from a Ranger.
Ooh, okay.
I think that would be pretty cool. Which, by the way, the NCR Ranger power armor is an invention for this show. They showed it off a while ago, or it was teased a while ago, and it looks really cool. You don't get to see the full scope of it, and you don't really get to look at it in too close of detail in the trailer, but look up some behind the scenes photos because the design is just really cool. I'm sure that they're going to be selling some cool merchandise around that, putting that as a skin for $40 into Fallout 76, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, of course. I mean, they got to make their money. That was not a theme of the show at all. There's nothing. There's nothing about consumerism that's bad in the show or the
Nothing about
games.
that. It's just so funny to me that Amazon is the one putting out this show.
Yeah, let me watch my fucking 18 5-minute ad breaks in my episodes.
The 18 5-minute ad breaks in my show about anti-consumerism.
Yep.
But anyways, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up? I think that in true radioactive ramblings fashion, I said that this was going to be a fast
This
one,
is
and it
gonna
was.
yeah. This is gonna be a short one. At least like minimum hour every time. All right, that'll be it for us today then. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you join us this weekend for Fallout Season 2 coverage. I mean, it's finally starting back up.
It's finally starting. And before we let you guys go, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the other podcasts in the network. First and foremost, to the ones who make all of this possible, our parent podcast, The Lorehounds. Also in the network are excellent podcasts like We'll Shift Dust, the Star Wars Canon Timeline podcast, Rings and Rituals, Properly Howard Movie Review, the Severance podcast, and Nevermind the Music. Links to all of these awesome podcasts and info on how to get a hold of us will be in the show notes. Thank you all for listening, and we are really, really excited to be back for Fallout Season 2.
I yell at people because I like yelling at people, and because they fucking deserve it. Not because Mumsy and Daddykins didn't hug me enough.